First, why walk your cat on a leash? Well, it's because it's a great way to enrich your cat's life, introduce them to new experiences, entertain them, and give them the opportunity to exhibit natural cat behaviors, all while doing it safely. Now, there are other ways to give your cat some access to the outdoors, and if your cat has never had any contact with the outdoors, it's a good idea to start by giving them access to a window with a solid screen or mesh to prevent them from falling out, or a patio door. Most screens are really not strong enough, be careful. This starts to get them used to the sounds and smells of the outdoors. You can also create a catio, either by fencing off a balcony or creating an enclosure in your garden, on a balcony, or on a window. Check out the Habitat Haven catalog for ideas. Never leave a cat on an unscreened balcony. There's a high risk that they'll accidentally jump down while trying to catch a bird in a hunting trance and thus injure or kill themselves. You can also walk your cat in an enclosed stroller to prevent escapes. In any case, it's always a good idea to provide a hiding place in the stroller or in the enclosure in the garden, for example, because the cats need to feel that they have control over their environment. They need to be able to hide if something ever scares them. A note here, not all cats are comfortable seeing their fellow cats up close. Some of the cats roaming your yard aren't neutered, which can increase your cat's reactivity. You could end up with urine marking issues indoors. So a catio may not be suitable for some cats. If you already need frosted window film to prevent your cat from seeing the neighborhood cats, it might not be a good idea to bring your cat outside. It's up to you to think about it. So you've decided to take your cat outside on a leash? Well, here are a few things to consider. I'm basing this largely on my own experience with my own cats, but I don't have the absolute truth. First, let's remember that cats are not only predators, they're also prey animals. So even if your kitty really seems keen to go outside, they may very well freeze at the threshold of the door when you open it. Cats are very attached to their environment, especially because as potential prey, they like to feel that they know their surroundings well, that they know where they can hide or perch out of reach of predators. In short, to feel that they have control. When you take your cat outside, it's a new environment. They're not in control. So you might not go for a walk as much as you might go for short outings, because every time you go further, it's a new environment. Let your cat decide where to go and how fast and whether they want to come back home. They're in charge. That doesn't necessarily mean they want to finish the walk. Give them the choice. They might just need to come back home to that spot because they know it's safe. And that's how they'll reduce their nervousness. They might then want to stay outside. This is what's happening with Middleman here, who's on vacation for the first time. He ventures out a bit, walking constantly without really realizing how far he's gotten, and he decides that he's finally a little bit scared and needs to come back home. But when I offer him the opportunity to come back inside, he decides, no, it's okay. I've come back to a safe place, I've reduced the tension, and we can continue on exploring. Cats are also less domesticated animals, and cats are often less socialized and less interested in food than dogs. Your cat may be afraid of you when you take them outside first. There are so many smells and noises and things everywhere, they're nervous and don't realize you're their primary human anymore. They think you're a stranger. If they panic, crouch down to look less intimidating and talk to them cheerfully so they recognize your voice. You want to avoid having the cat back away from you at all costs because they could slip out of any harness in that position, even a well-fitted one. Cats are just incredibly flexible. They'll slip out of just about any harness. For the same reason, you never leave a cat alone in a harness. If they get caught on something, they could strangle themselves. So before your cat panics, prepare yourself. Choose a quiet spot at a quiet time of day. Back alleys are generally quieter and easier for cats than streets, especially if you pass through a quiet yard to get there. So yards or gardens are even better than back alleys. Don't try to walk your cat on a main street or a commercial street. Very few cats are capable of that. There are some, as you can see online, but for the vast majority of cats, it would be asking too much. If there are a lot of children screaming in the back alley, it's a perfect recipe for failure and trauma that will leave your cat afraid for the next 5 years. It's generally easier for cats to go for walks when it's dark. On the one end, it's quieter, and on the other, they're crepuscular animals, meaning they're more active around dawn and dusk. So it better mimics their natural behavior. The weather also has an influence. If it's windy, for example, cats are much less comfortable. Again, you're going to go outside, but you're not necessarily going for a walk. The furthest I've gone so far for a walk is about around the block, and it's not every day that they feel like doing that. Cats are nevertheless very curious, in case you hadn't noticed, and the world is a playground for them. They love to be perched. So they like to explore outside, but they don't understand the concept of property lines. And therefore, they tend to hide in the street under cars, where they might be difficult to get out. A bush is typically better, hiding in a bush. If they are confident, they also tend to climb trees much too high, and then the leash gets stuck and you're in trouble. So it's up to you to put yourself in a situation where you have enough control over the environment to not lose or hurt your kitty. If they escape from their harness because they were scared and backed away from you, it's not long before they find themselves under the wheels of a car or run really fast, really far, hide, and then not remember where they came from and no longer know where the house is. If they walk on a fence, it's not long before they can jump to the other side into the person's yard, and then you must find a way to bring them back, possibly having to jump the fence yourself and throw your kitty over so that they can come back. And then you have to go back over the fence again yourself. So in short, make sure that this does not happen to you. Your best tool, though, is food. So you want to make sure that from the very beginning, you always go out with really good food so that your cat knows that, hey, when we're outside, my human has really good food. You want to cultivate your cat's attention to you. From the very first minutes, from the very first few minutes, very important. So say their name, mark the behavior of their ear that just turn towards you. For example, click or just say yes and give them food. It's okay at first if the cat just turns their ear and not their head towards you. This is the beginning of what we want to cultivate as a default behavior as much as possible. We want your cat to get used to having their human close to them, and that in situations where they're not sure, they'll have the reflex to retrace their steps back to their human. Of course, if they're really scared, they'll just run away, so it's up to you to try to avoid situations where they might panic. For example, people who want to come and pet the kitty. That's a good example of something that might really be too much for your cat. A jogger running towards them is 99.9% likely to make them freak out. Children are often too much, dogs, etc. Make sure your cat wears a collar with a tag that has their address and your phone number on it. The collar should be a buckle that opens by itself or an elastic band in case the cat gets caught in a fence. We want to make sure the cat doesn't strangle themselves. At worst, they'll lose their collar, but at least they won't be dead. Also make sure your cat is microchipped. If you ever lose them, at least then you'll have a chance of finding them again. Training a recall is also a really great idea. Walk with a carrier or a bag or box that you train your cat to enter and that they find reassuring. I haven't yet found the perfect thing to carry. If you can't carry one, leave a cardboard box by the door. That way, if your cat freaks out or escapes, if they come back home right away, they'll have a place to hide while waiting for you, rather than running away in search of a hiding place. By cultivating human focus and recall, we can more easily get out of situations where the cat ends up where they shouldn't be. I once spent a good 5 minutes talking to Miley, who was hiding in a bush. I knew he would come out when he felt safer because a passerby had scared him. The food and the recall weren't enough, but by recognizing that forcing him out would have been just panicking him, I was able to give him time to process his emotions. Again, the cat walks us, we don't walk the cat. When he did come back out, he got some really great treats. And don't be shy about saying to people who stop to see, "My cat is scared of you, you won't come out of the bush until you're gone." So how do you cultivate attention? Well, yes, with really good food, like soft canned food that you put in a go tube, so you can easily bring it with you. Go tubes and similar products are sold at outdoor stores like Mountain Equipment Co-op in the camping section. They're designed to bring salad dressing while camping, so it's a great tool and it's safe because it's made to hold food. Providing good food also helps to change an emotion from worry to pleasure, so don't be shy about spoiling your kitty while you're out and about. If your cat knows tricks that they've mastered well, like come, touch the tip of my finger, sit, give a paw, this is a good way for you to judge their state of attention and alertness, and therefore their state of anxiety. At first, it's hard for them to be focused enough on you to give you their paw because they're in a new environment. There are just too many stimuli of all kinds, and they are on the lookout for predators. As they get used to the walking environment, they become calmer and more focused. So take your time. Putting your cat in a situation where they are likely to succeed, not panic, is what you want. If they just want to stay at the threshold of the door, that's already super enriching for them. Maybe they will do that for 3 months. Keep doing it if they are happy. If they seem happy and they want to go back, it's because they like it. At some point, they might decide to go down a step and explore a little further. Just because you're going to the amusement park doesn't mean you have to go on all the rides to have fun. Reward 10 times more than you think you should. This is the number one mistake people make. They never reward enough. Reward, reward, reward. So before heading off on your adventure, what you need to remember is make sure you have small bags because yes, cats poop on walks just like dogs, and you have to respect others and pick it up. And make sure you have good food and be generous with it. Cut your treats into small quantities. You can make smaller pieces, but a quarter of a treat is still a treat. If you use a go tube with soft food, it's usually so valuable. It's great you can just put a little bit at a time on your finger. And the last thing is to let your cats set the pace. They'll probably stop periodically and look around for 4 to 5 seconds. They often lift a small paw during this time. It's important to give them this time where they reassure themselves that there's no danger. So they stop periodically to see, okay, is my environment still safe? Okay, yes, it looks okay. I'll continue the walk. Here are some other ideas. Attach a carabiner to your belt, they have some at the dollar store, and attach the leash or tether after it. When cats decide to run, they take off so fast that sometimes the leash falls out of our hands. Longer leads give more distance, but you have to be careful if you're on a sidewalk or along a street so that they don't wander into the street where vehicles are passing because the lead is too long. Another thing to consider while walking multiple cats at the same time might not be a good idea. They're all going in different directions, aren't all as confident about going further, can panic separately. One might decide to go through a fence while the other stays on the other side, etc. That said, when they're with their friends, it's much more reassuring. They're more confident. We're always happy to have our friends with us when we're doing an activity that's exciting, but a little bit scary. It's the same for cats. It's important to understand that you'll likely encounter other cats while you're walking outside. Some are polite and sociable, others less so. Yours might also react more or less politely. We have a good cat buddy here with Miley who's playing. It's a good idea to learn to read feline body language to avoid fights. Cats display a lot of postures and signs that we can easily identify as being signs of a problem, so you can quickly remove your pet from the situation when you see those. Otherwise, while question mark tails are a sign of I'm friendly, we could say hello, but the situation can always evolve over the course of an interaction. Also, be aware that fleas, ear mites, and other parasites or diseases are transmissible and can come from another cat or the environment. A note here regarding FIV and FELV. FIV is transmitted through bites, but FELV is more easily transmitted, so it's a good thing to be aware of this and understand the associated risks. Talk to your veterinarian. I hope you enjoy your walk, or rather your outing, because we respect our kitty's rhythm.